Well, for several years, UMD's Center for Economic Development has been running the Small Business Development Center in Duluth's Technology Village. Well, that's going to change next month when the Northland Foundation takes over operations at the center. The foundation already is focused on economic development in the region and sees this as a logical extension of its current mission. And so, here to tell us more is Tony Sertich. Tony is president of the Northland Foundation. Tony, thank you so very much for being here tonight. I know you've been with the Northland Foundation for quite some time. A lot of folks don't really know what the Small Business Development Center is all about. Why the marriage of the two, and how is that going to benefit?
Yeah, we're very excited about this opportunity to continue to partner with the folks who are doing Small Business Development Center work. And so what this basically is, it's a federal program, and then it partners with a local host, and we're going to be taking over the hosting responsibilities from UMD. Long story short is this provides technical assistance or business consultants to help small businesses either start up or grow.
Mm-hmm. So will you be changing any of the mission of the development center or adding to it?
Hopefully adding to it in the longer term. So there'll be a transition right now, and UMD is going to be maintaining their partnership with us. And there's about a dozen partners out there, from the NRRI to the Department of Iron Range Resources and some local county EDAs and city EDAs. And so our hope actually is when this happens in mid-October that nobody notices. That would be the good part of the transition, but we think longer term there can be growth. The Small Business Development Center for Northeastern Minnesota, which serves the 7 counties of our region, just last year helped over 821 clients, almost 8,000 hours of consulting time. It started up 44 new businesses and helped existing businesses grow.
Mm-hmm. So how does economic development fit into what the Northland Foundation has been doing throughout its history?
Yeah, it's one of the major legs of our stool. You know, as a foundation, we give out grants to help out in focus areas, but the other piece that we've done since the mid-'80s is be a gap financer to help out businesses. And so many times businesses will have an idea, they'll need to purchase new equipment to grow some jobs, and they have to go to the bank, and the bank will look at their numbers and say, well, there's still a risk here, there's still a gap in risk, and so we'd come in, sometimes along with other partners like the Entrepreneur Fund or the IRRB or others, and say, we'll take on some of that risk as a gap financer, and we'll help close that piece, and so we'll have a piece of the loan and be a part of making sure those businesses can get the money they need, the capital they need to grow.
So Tony, are you discovering, is there a growth in business startups, or at least young entrepreneurs who want to start a business, or has this leveled off? Where are we?
We're definitely seeing a growth. What happens out there is people have business ideas, either new businesses that they want to start up or they want to expand, and folks are really excited about their opportunity, but maybe don't know where to go to help further develop their business plan, or get marketing, or find some research for whatever they want to do that's new and different. And that's where the Small Business Development Center comes in. Our business consultants can work with those businesses at no charge to the business. And that's the key piece of this as well. The cost is borne by this grant that the federal government has, and then partners like us who match those dollars to make sure that this can be no charge to the business.
Has the Northland Foundation offered business consulting services in the past, or was it really strictly just as a financer?
Yeah, we haven't done business consulting in the past, and that's the beauty of this, is we partnered with the SBDC and other non-traditional folks in our region for a long time. So this was a natural partnership where we have capital, we have funding and financing, and these services are here. And so, like I said, we've been a long-time partner with the SBDC.
Now, most small business development centers, or all of them, don't offer financing themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah, there needs to be a firewall, and there's some technical details on when we want to make sure, because there are other funding opportunities from banks and other non-traditional lenders. And so we're becoming more of a one-stop shop in that way. But there are other players around the region as well that we will continue to be partners with.
Is it unusual for a small business development center to be hosted by a funder?
It is, and by a foundation, absolutely. But just this year in northwestern Minnesota as well, the Initiative Foundation, that's similar to us, is taking on the hosting duties as well. And so you're seeing a trend, at least in the Northland, where the small business development centers were generally done by universities, but for various reasons, universities want to continue to be the partner, but not necessarily the lead host.
Tony, talk to us a little bit about market research that your organization does.
Yeah, and so that's the beautiful part about the Small Business Development Center is whether working with UMD students today or our business consultants, for many of these small businesses, they have an idea and they say, well, we want to make sure that we are most successful. These students or our consultants we can connect them with can do that market research, once again, at no cost to the business, to make sure their likelihood of success of this business grows. Because that's what happens with a lot of small businesses. Many start up and many fail within those first few years. But when they have these business consultants working with them on those areas that they might not be sure of, the likelihood of success grows for them.
If a business owner comes to you, maybe they've already been in business 10, 15 years, and asks for some market research, will you do it for them too?
Absolutely. This isn't just for startups. These are for existing businesses as well that maybe want to refresh their business plan, look at their marketing, look at the research aspects. I'd say most of the businesses we actually work with right now, or will be working with, are in expansion mode. And actually, my family has owned a small business for a long time, and we used the SBDC back almost 15 years ago to help us grow, and it's incredibly successful because the other piece that they do is they do trainings as well. So anything from QuickBooks to how to start up a business, all of this is offered by the SBDC too.
What's the state's role in all of this?
Yes, and so the federal government actually funds this, but the state administers the program. And so to be selected host, it's actually the State Department of Economic Development are the ones that make those sorts of decisions, and there's leadership at the state level to actually do the work in Minnesota.
And can any business access these resources, or is there some sort of a qualification system that they have to go through?
Not at all. Any business can walk through the door. We can't solve every problem for a business, but if they give a phone call or go to our website, they're able to connect with the consultant and see if there are ways that we can help them.
Sure.
Can you give some examples of businesses that maybe the Small Business Development Center has worked with and helped get off the ground?
Yeah, well, like I said, we worked with them actually with our family business and helped us transition over to QuickBooks, which maybe sounds kind of boring and technical, but it's really about making sure our accounting systems were working well for a very small business, and we see many of those across our region.
Do you feel that the region has a pretty solid network of resources available to businesses of all sizes as they transition through these different phases of development?
I really think we do. The biggest challenge is for the business finding us, and that's why it's great that I have this opportunity here today, because I know there's many businesses or entrepreneurs thinking about starting up that just don't know where to go first, or just might not know where the opportunities are. And so we're continually trying to make it known that, once again, if folks are looking for business planning, for marketing, for accounting, learning out how to start up your business or how to grow your business, we're available to help them.
Tony, how wide a circle does the Northland Foundation have? You certainly help people here in Duluth, outside of Duluth as well?
Yes, the 7 counties in northeastern Minnesota, all are parts of 5 tribal nations, and we do some work in Superior and Douglas County as well. And so the other beauty of the SBDC is they have about a dozen of these consultants that are located all across the region, from International Falls to the North Shore, Grand Rapids, and all points in between.
So you're basically covering the same area with the services already.
Yes, and that's the other beauty of the partnership is we have the very same footprint as this SBDC does too.
Will people notice any difference as they walk in the door?
My hope is not right away, and we just hope everything transitions smoothly. I think there's growth opportunities. You know, we're going to be more successful as a region the more ownership we have in our future, and the way you have more ownership in businesses is businesses and CEOs that really start up and grow from our region, and those are the businesses we're focused on. Those small businesses that maybe start in a garage or in a basement, and then they grow 1 or 2, 5 or 10 jobs, and they grow that way. Those are the businesses we can help more than any, and I think that we'll have a better future. We're only as good as how much funding we have from ourselves and our partners on this grant, and so we're looking for other funders to be out there to partner with us moving forward.
And what other kinds of services does the Northland Foundation provide?
Yes, and so we have these business services now that we have loan making opportunities and now these business consulting services. We partner with a lot of the other funders, with the banks and others, to make sure that we're finding these businesses wherever they're at. And the other aspects of our work really are our grant making program and then our Kids Plus program, focusing on children and youth and intergenerational opportunities.
Talk to us about Kids Plus. What is that?
Yeah, that's an opportunity where we're in community, not leading, but really looking at what we can do to serve our children and our youth in a whole host of ways and make sure that they have the resources they need to be successful.
We had you on a while back talking about the Northland Foundation working to improve access to childcare. How does that fit into, not just healthy kids, but also, as an economic development tool?
And that's the biggest thing. The child care issue is really expanded beyond being an issue for children and families, but it's really holding us back. The lack of child care in our region
Still a
is holding
shortage.
us back, yes. 4,500 kids today don't have access in our region to child care. And it's holding back those businesses because folks are having to make that decision to stay home instead of being active in the workforce. And so there's actually a synergy between the SBDC as well, because so many are at-home or center-based providers need some help in starting a business if you want to grow your child care facility. And that's where these business consultants at the SBDC can be helpful too.
You mentioned that UMD was going to be staying involved as a partner. What will their role look like going forward?
Yeah, we're very excited that they're going to maintain their partnership because they've done a great job shepherding this under Elaine Hansen for a number of years. And so the location of the Duluth office is going to remain the same in kind of the UMD Center for Economic Development downtown. They're going to be funding one of the business consultants on a part-time basis, and we're going to be in partnership with the students that are going to be doing some of this market research.
What's the next step?
The next step is on October 14th, we hopefully, when the light switches turn on, everything transitions over, and that all of our partners are happy, and that my hope is that any business we're currently working with has no idea that this happens.
Sure.
That would be success.
All right, Tony Sertich, Northland Foundation. Thank you, Tony.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you
it very
both.
much.
Yeah.